see, do we have any viewers? Good morning. 8:10 a.m. Pacific time, and we are live from Kiwi and Pixel the Parakeets. I apologize if Kiwi makes too much noise up on the microphone boom here. One of those things, he just likes to be on it. Let's see if I can get him on the glasses instead. All right, so I was hoping to do this live stream as kind of a Q&A for you. If you guys have any questions about Kiwi and Pixel, we'd love to answer them for you on the live stream. I'm only going to be on here about 20-25 minutes or so, but I have a browser window up here on the corner of the screen so that I can sort of show you my favorite products live for you as you request them, or if you have any information that you want to give us, I can look it up and display it to you right here in this window. So I typically get all my stuff on Amazon, but what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to show you the cages that we use. So it's the Vision L02 bird cage, and let's see, I don't think they have the L02 anymore on Amazon, but they have the M02, and they've got the, let's see here. This is very similar to the one that we have. Hopefully you guys can all see this. All right. Any questions you guys have, I'd be happy to answer them for you here. One of the questions we frequently get on the channel is, how old are Kiwi and Pixel? And Kiwi is our green parakeet here. This is Kiwi, and Kiwi is 6 years old as of, I think, this month, actually. We got him in like June of 2014, I think. And he was about 2.5 months old when we got him. So that means that he hatched probably around March, somewhere around there. So yeah, Kiwi is 6, and Pixel is 3 because we got him in about the same time of the year in 2017, also when he was about 2.5 months old. So yeah, 3 and 6. A lot of people ask us also, how long do parakeets live? And that question really has to do with the care of the birds and the health of the birds. I'm of the opinion that usually parakeets are going to live longer if you get them hand raised, not from stores. I've heard of people having, pet shop parakeets that live 15 years, which I'm sure happens, but probably not as often. Um, but I think if you get them hand raised from a proper parakeet breeder, they're going to live longer and have better health overall. So I would hope that these guys live at least 8 to 15 years. That's the average, I think, for healthy parakeets. I've heard people say up to 20 years, which I don't think is, going to be very common at all, but I've heard of it happening. Let's see here. Gerard says, what do you do to teach them to talk? This is a great question. I think the key in teaching them to talk is really in repetition. Um, you have to repeat stuff to them a lot, and you have to be consistent. So, you have to start with something really, really simple, like a one-word phrase or a two-word phrase, and repeat it to them the same way over and over and over again, just to be sure that they're hearing it the same way every time and they know how to repeat it. So, yeah, you just want to start really basic and only work on 1 or 2 phrases at a time. Say it over and over again. I'd say up to 30 to 50 times a day even, and that way the birds will learn it. And it takes them, it may take them weeks or months to learn a single phrase. Mariah has a question. Where did you purchase Kiwi and Pixel? We got them at a specialty pet shop in San Francisco. And it's actually not a specialty shop, it's an independent pet store, I should say. They do have more of a variety of pets than a lot of places do, but this particular pet store in San Francisco has a guy who's been working there for, my wife tells me, 20 plus years, and he specializes just in birds, and specifically hand raising parakeets. There's like always a waiting list to get parakeets from him because people know that the birds are really high quality, they're hand raised. It's really, really rare to get hand raised parakeets anywhere, especially from a pet store, from a professional business. and he doesn't charge very much. They're only about $40, which, considering that most pet store parakeets are 15, and most pet store parrots, you know, conures and stuff, are $300-400 if not more. It's kind of a bargain actually. So yeah, San Francisco, it's a pet store. Lynn says, I don't think my Quaker parrot would fit in those cages. Yeah, I'm not sure I'm not sure how big a Quaker is actually. So let's see. Quaker parrot. Yeah, Quaker parrots are probably going to be a little bit big for a cage like that, although this cage here looks like it's got very similar bars to the one that we put Kiwi and Pixel in. The thing you have to worry about with larger parrots is, can they bite the bars off of the sides of the cage? And the answer is, if they can, don't put them in that cage. Usually the parrots that you see, parrot cages that you see have really, really thick bars on them. Like this one, for example, it's got really, really strong bars on it. So yeah, I'm not sure a Quaker would fit even in the L02 cage. You might want to find something bigger than that, unfortunately. All right, let's see. Oh, I said Mariah. Maria, I'm sorry. Yeah, if you can find a place that does hand-raised parakeets, it's definitely worth it. You know, over the lifetime of the bird, you're going to spend far more than $40 on food and cages and supplies, and so the cost of the bird is the cheapest part of owning a bird, really. No matter how expensive the bird, it could be $1,000 parrot, and it's still going to be the cheapest part of owning that bird. So let's see here. Happy to answer other questions from you. Let's see if I can get Kiwi and Pixel to come back. They're pretty engaged with other stuff right now. Hold on. Okay, here we go. I have a question here that says, did they originally get along or did it take some time? Um, the answer is yes. Both of those things. Uh, they did get along at first, but also it takes time for birds to become acquainted with one another. I think that, you know, initially we thought that maybe we'd be able to put them in one cage, and 3 years later, the answer is no, we can't. And so that's why we have separate cages for them. People ask, you know, why do you keep them in separate cages? Well, Pixel is kind of a jerk to Kiwi, and he's a bigger bird. I don't know if you can really tell from the video, but Pixel probably weighs 10, at least 15% more than Kiwi does, and uses his size and weight to bully Kiwi around. And so what happens is that when we put them in the same cage, uh, Pixel just chases Kiwi around until Kiwi is super tired, and it makes Kiwi really unhappy. He gets nervous and starts to pace back and forth on the cage bars, and it's not a good setup for them. So yeah, it's kind of unusual to have two parakeets in two cages. I know for a lot of people that seems really foreign, but for our situation, it's just what works. Another question on their ages. Pixel is 3 and Kiwi is 6. Gotta have my coffee here. I'm gonna plug this place. If you guys have ever been up the Northern California coast to a little town called Eureka, California, there's a place called Ramon's Bakery and Cafe, and they have some of the best pastries you'll ever have outside of France. Honestly, it's really good stuff. But Ramon's Bakery and Arcata, I think there's one in Arcata. There's one in Eureka as well. Little towns up in Humboldt County, up on the California coast. It's about 4.5, 5 hours from where I live. All right. How fast do budgies fly? Budgies fly very fast. You might have seen a video the other day where Pixel flew sort of across the upstairs from the office into the bathroom. He's fast, even though his wings have been clipped partially. He's still very fast. You don't want to ever chance getting a parakeet outside because they are going to be gone forever if you do. Pixel is a bit more of a show budgie. It's hard to say. I think there's different varieties of budgies in general. Like, there's English budgies, American budgies, and they're different sizes and sort of crest shapes. Um, I don't really know whether they're show budgies. I know they're pretty high quality in terms of breeding. Carmela asks, how do you get a parakeet to land on stuff without flying back to its cage? Our bird wants to be with us, be biased, but doesn't land. I think it's just a matter of comfort. You have to provide places they can perch, and if they're not familiar with perching on you, it's going to be harder. So Kiwi and Pixel will land on pretty much anything because we condition them to be outside the cage a lot. But it's hard to say. I'm not sure how to train that into them because that was never an issue for us, to be honest. Are you a chicken? I don't know if you can hear that, but let's see if we'll let him speak for a minute. He likes things that are green colored. All right, let's see. I'm going to make my video bigger. Let's see if this works for you. You can see more of what's going on here. You might think on my headset these are a little bit weird. If you wear a headset during the day a lot like I do, these things here, they're covers, and you can buy them in sets of 2. You just wash them and replace them. It's much more hygienic than having a headset that you just wear constantly without cleaning it. Oh, you guys can hear that. That's good. Does Kiwi still occasionally say, "Get me some FU chicken"? No, he only did that once. That was kind of an amazing fluke that we got that on camera the one time that we did. But he does say, "Get me some barbecue chicken." It certainly does. Oh, now my video is being covered up. I'm not a professional streamer, guys. I'm not. Renalia, I don't know how to pronounce her name, sorry. She says, most birds tend to go back to their cage if they remain in the same room too. It's true. Yeah, a lot of people wonder how to train their birds to, go back to a cage, but they sort of do it naturally on their own when they, if it's like a safe place for them. It's kind of like a dog if they're crate trained. It's where they feel comfortable, so it's where they go by default when they want to go back to a safe place. Off topic, what headset is that? I'm looking for some, thanks. This is, geez, I'm gonna have to look it up. The Corsair Void Pro, Void X Pro. Let me see here. Corsair Void Pro wireless. They're a little bit less than $100. I've had these a couple years. They are nice because they're wireless. The only problem I've had is that I've used them so much that the battery dies a lot more easily, so I actually had to buy a replacement battery, and I had to take part of the headphone apart. Actually, it's on this side. You have to take the ear set apart, remove the old battery, put a new one in. It's not really something that's user-friendly to do, but that was $10 instead of buying a new $100 headset. And since I used to repair phones and computers, that was kind of a piece of cake for me, but I don't recommend that the average person do that. But I do recommend the headset. It's comfortable. It doesn't really clamp on your head very much, which also means that it can come off kind of easily. So you have to have it placed on you well, but nice for gaming. Sound is clear, I think. All right, let's go back to my streaming tab here. Any possible training with regards to poop situation? I want to give my parakeet a chance to fly around. So the answer to that is no. Parakeets cannot be trained to poop everywhere. I don't know of anybody who's actually done that. Larger parrots you can train. You can, give them cues. You can make them familiar with the place that they're supposed to poop. But small parakeets, nope. I don't think they can control it. Lance, thanks for the comment. Renelia, when do your budgies usually molt? I know my babies are molting right now, but different hemispheres might change things. Um, you know, I've never been able to figure out a pattern. I don't think for us that it's tied to the seasons. We live in California where we barely have seasons as it is. Um, but they sort of molt year round and they molt at different times. I think for the most part, they go a few months before part of their body molts, and it's not always the same part of the body. So it might be just tail feathers one time or just head feathers a different time. So they go through different phases. Kevin asks, can budgies and lovebirds be best buddies? Um, I don't know the answer to that, to be honest. My impression of lovebirds is that they can be aggressive, and so I'm not sure how well they do around smaller birds. Budgies are actually known for bullying around bigger birds. Like if you put a cockatiel and a budgie together, usually the budgie is the problem and not the cockatiel, which is counterintuitive because you'd think the bigger bird would be the issue. But I'm not sure about budgies and lovebirds, to be honest. Hi, Kiwi. See if he says anything. Can you get Kiwi to say I'm famous on YouTube? Um, that would be kind of a hard one. I'm not sure if I can get him to do it. I'm trying to get him to learn to say I like rock and roll, but it's been weeks now, over a month, and he still hasn't done it. So, all right. I'm here to answer your questions for just a couple more minutes. I'd love to do a longer live stream with you guys now that I have this figured out better on this computer. But you guys gonna come back for one more word? Kiwi, come on. I'm gonna find something shiny. He really likes talking to shiny things. Come here, Kiwi. I'm not wearing my watch, so he can't talk to that. Let's see. Is the sun a planet? No, it is a star. Where do you get your toys from? We have a local place that's called Pet Club. It's kind of like a warehouse store for pet things, kind of like Costco. And they tend to have a lot of pretty inexpensive toys, but we don't really care where we get them from. Every place has pretty much the same toys anyway. There's a place in Berkeley, California, which I forget the name of, that my wife has been to a couple times, but I have not. Apparently, they've got really, really nice bird toys there. June asks, I've had mine for over 3 years. When will she start talking? Um, Females are less likely to talk than males are, but it is not unheard of for females to talk. So, hard to say. The guy at the pet shop where we got Kiwi and Pixel from has a bird called Disco, not the same Disco that you guys might be familiar with. And his bird Disco is I think probably by now he's close to 10 years old. But the guy at the bird store told us that um, Disco didn't say a single word until he was 6 or 7 years old. So I've heard of them talking much later in life. It just depends on the bird. You can never tell. I mean, even if you have a male and it's hand raised, there's no guarantee that it's going to talk. So yeah. Well, it is 8:30, and technically it's my work start time. I work from home, but anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the stream today, and I will try to do this a little bit more often. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments. We will address them next time. And I will answer one last question from Maria. How much time a day do you spend or did you used to spend with Kiwi and Pixel? We're both doctors and we're not home as much as we'd like to be. Um, we do spend quite a lot of time every day with them. I've been working from home for about 2 years, and I think it really helps to spend that time because they're obviously in the same room with me while I work. Um, they are out of the cage for multiple hours a day, but I would say that it's pretty important to spend at least a couple hours a day with the birds if you want them to be really socialized. Some people have, a flock of budgies, and that flock sort of self-entertains. It's a little bit less important in that case, but if you only have one or two budgies, I would say spend as much time as possible with them. If you're doctors and you're working like 36-hour shifts, and you might be up, during your off time in the night when the birds are supposed to be sleeping, that could be harder. So anyway, thanks for stopping by. Thanks for watching Kiwi and Pixel the Parakeets, and we look forward to seeing you guys next time. Bye bye.